Hello riders, it's Josh from CycleHunters.com. Today we have the privilege of checking out one of the newest bikes on the market for the middleweight class. It is the 2022 Aprilia RS 660. Now this bike, you can clearly see, is a track weapon focused kind of a machine. It is easily stuck within the 600cc middleweight category. However, it's a little different than what maybe you're used to seeing in that category. Mainly because this is a parallel twin. Now, many of the motors that are coming out on the market today are in that configuration. So this one in particular is very similar to the architecture of the their V4 motor. However, on the RS V4, this is basically the front two cylinders, and they did some things so that they could make sure that this is balanced for versatility, performance, and everything else as far as what you would want out of one of these types of bikes. Which is, you know, a good throttle response. This isn't too snappy that's going to scare you. The bars on it are a little wide, which is nice because it gives you that ability to maneuver. You can kind of see right here that these come above the triple tree about an inch, whereas typically they're underneath the triple tree, so it gives you a little bit more of an upright position. Not a whole lot, but it is still very much a sport bike, and it is a little more oriented for the street in terms of the current setup. Obviously, with the rear passenger pegs on it and the back seat, you're going to have the ability to take somebody else with you. Now, you can take that stuff off, put a solo cow on it, and you're good to go. So the motor, again, you're talking a 659cc parallel twin. It is heavily influenced by the RS V4. 270 degree crank, so it's going to have its distinctive sound. You can see here it's got ABS, it's got modes of ABS, we'll get into that in a second. You can see it's got the winglets, the opening for that. Everybody's got wings today. I like this with the signals up high on the stalks. There's really not much for blemishes on this bike. It's in really great shape. There's a couple it's mostly stock, but there are a couple aftermarket bits and pieces on here. I mean, even still, that's cool. That is cool. Little tiny things, detail items as you start to look at this bike. It's just a cool machine. Again, not much for blemishes. You have your undertail exhaust, so the weight is nice and low. Wheels are in awesome shape. Like I said, you can see there's really not much going on for anything blemish wise. You have your tighty tail. Yeah, I mean, cool hugger. How that suspension sucked right in there. You can see again how nice this thing is. Your slider there. Here's your rear set, a little bit more of a street conventional style. This also has a quick shifter, so this is good for up and down. Everything that I've read about these, they're very smooth. It is a really very cool bike in terms of the electronics and the tech that it has versus, you know, the older ones that it's replacing on the market. Although the motor is a parallel twin and it's not as peaky as the older 600 inline-fours, this is going to have a little bit more of that down low grunt. Oh yeah, this also has those ASV levers. Those are kind of pricey. And a pooch windscreen, so you get the extra bubble there. It's just a good looking machine. Love the look of these. Get your Brembos and your orange powder coated wheel. Comfort gel seat. This is an aftermarket seat, so it's a little bit more comfortable. Now, let's see here. We're going to look at the controls. Now, these controls, it's not the most easy to learn because with these types of bikes now. They're all coming with electronics and multi-modes and quick shifters and all kinds of doodads. This has the TFT screen. Look how beautiful that is when you turn that on. Be a racer. Okay, so you can see the ABS light brakes. Once that is turned on and it's rolling, that goes away. Let's see here. 5,005 miles on this bike. Not a whole lot of mileage. You can kind of see that you have your gear indicator to the right. Right now it says neutral. You have a lot of different ones down here. That is stuff that's specific to this bike. You have your temperature up top left and your fuel gauge top right. So you can also see that it says individual. Well, this bike has 5 ride modes: commute, dynamic, individual, and then 2 track modes, which is I believe challenge, and then there's one other one. Time attack, I think, is what it is. So, you know, you're able to toggle through that stuff. We're not going to go through all that in here because there's just much too much. But you have everything over here that you're able to start, you know, you can kind of get an idea of your trips. There's all kinds of really good stuff information-wise on this bike for that. You have your lap counter up here. You have, I believe that's what that is a flash for your lights. Sometimes they make it a lap counter. Your horn down here, your indicator for your signals, left, right, cancel in the middle, basic stuff. On the right side here, you're going to have, it's looking like your headlight on off button, something over here. This is on, and this is probably start down here. Oh, this is start. This, oh, there we go. That toggles through your modes for traction control. And look, a lot of this stuff is adjustable. Your engine braking, so you could literally get in here and dial this bike into a mode. And I believe every one of these modes is available to be adjusted to whatever you like, which is great because everybody's a little different. Their weight, their ability, what's comfortable in terms of engine braking, all that kind of stuff. So let's see if we can see this real quick here. Oh, that's cool. And there's your driving lights. Let's see. Yeah, we're gonna have to turn the bike on for the lights, but you can kind of see here up top is your top left signal. We'll check left rear stalk. And this will be right rear. We'll hit the brake a while. That's rear brake, foot, and that's hand brake. And as you can see, top right signal. Cool looking array in the front there. So you're definitely going to be seen on this machine, which is a really, really good thing. You know, sometimes people put the light kits on these things as well, and you're even more visible, which is a great feature to add. At least in my opinion it is. Again, nice matte finish. Kind of like a slate gunmetal with the Aprilia orange. Looks great, just looks really good. Overall, it's just a good looking machine. All right, so let's see here. We are in neutral, and the fun is about to start here. Oh man, that fires right up. So this is not going to scare your neighbors, although if you would like to get an aftermarket exhaust for it, that is easily done, and you could wake up the entire neighborhood with this bike. But as the configuration that it's in now, it's stock, so it's a little more quiet, but it still does give you a growl. Oh yeah, that's got some, you can feel the pep in it. If you've never ridden a regular 600, you'll notice that something like this is probably a little bit easier to start to ride because of the fact that it's twin. It's a little bit more forgiving on the lower ends when you're pulling out. Oh yeah, gotta love that Italian power. Oh, that sounds so good. It just sounds really good. It sounds like it's got enough grunt to get you where you want to go easily in style. It's a gorgeous bike, very racy looking. It's definitely following the lines of what they've been putting out in their GP bikes, you know, because they're pretty much up there now with the Ducatis and the KTMs if you follow that series. But Aprilia's been really trying to get into that mid-range market, and they've done a great job, because all I ever hear is really good things about these, so we've been getting them. And I cannot wait to go ride this, because it is a nice machine. But it's beautiful. It's definitely going to be off the beaten path from your ninjas and your Japanese bikes. Again, this one is not going to have the same amount of power as an inline-four, as a parallel twin. So it's a little bit different in terms of how this stuff is going to be going on into the future. You're going to see a lot of these bikes that are going to be the parallel twins, the FZ09s, all that stuff. All these companies are starting to make these parallel twin race bikes. So that class is emerging, and this one is definitely one of the top contenders, I would think, in that class. Again, if I didn't, I did mention that it does have the ABS brakes. I don't believe it's cornering ABS though. You have to check on that. But all this stuff in the TFT screen in your dash is able to be manipulated so that you can kind of dial into how you want the bike to feel. Now, every bike gets a battery tender. It has a 48-point check that we go through when we bring a bike in here, so that we just want to make sure when you get a bike from us, it's as good as it can possibly be. So oil and filter are basic things. We check the charging system, anything that we need to do to make sure that the bike leaves here in tip-top shape, we do that. It's a gorgeous machine. Riding season is really right upon us, and if you want something a little more unique than your general average 600cc sport bike, this is a great alternative. It may not be as fast, but if you're not a track day person, if you're not really looking to do any of that stuff and you're really just wanting to enjoy it, this is very enjoyable to ride because of the seating position. Your elbows are a little bit more out, and the power is not going to be as abrupt as, like I said, like a 600cc sport bike. So if you are digging the 2022 Aprilia RS 660, give us a call at 717-273-1809. You can see the full list of our current inventory at www.cyclehunters.com. We have aftermarket warranties available. We have some financing options available. We have a big selection of bikes. We service everything. We make sure that when you get it, it's as close as we can make it to a new bike. This one doesn't take a whole lot because it's really close to being one. So give us a call, like and subscribe. Leave me your comments if you've ever ridden one of these, or what your initial thoughts are. I love to hear that stuff. But until the next bike, happy riding.